Recently, the Uptown School District unveiled a new dress code that took effect on the Monday after fall break. Without any input from the students, the school board put in place the rule that students could no longer wear any shirts with messages of any kind. They explained that due to recent disruptions of class, they have removed shirts with messages on them to keep controversy from entering the classroom in an attempt to, quote, maintain an orderly learning environment, says the school board. They gave evidence that there had been discussions spending valuable classroom time based on shirts with messages such as Black Lives Matter, #MeToo, We Call BS, and more. Feeling that these rule changes are unfair, the student government of Uptown High School announced on social media that the first day back from fall break, and incidentally, the first day that this dress code would be in effect, would be Free Speech Day, in which there would be a planned walkout during lunch. The principal learned of this possibly happening and announced that those who participated would be punished, though this didn't seem to stop it, as 1,500 students walked out of class into an abandoned parking lot across the street. Students carried signs that read, "Civic action isn't disruptive, it is my civics education," and wore shirts that said, "We don't shed our rights at the schoolhouse gate." The principal gave all of the students after-school detention. Some of the students who received ASD decided to take the school district and the principal to court, arguing that the message-free policy violated their First Amendment rights. The school district argues the opposite, saying that these changes were necessary to maintain an orderly learning environment. In the Tinker versus Des Moines case of 1969, the Supreme Court made a final decision that students do not shed their rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate, meaning that students are able to maintain their rights of freedom of speech even at school, where you may shed other rights. According to the Constitute Project, free speech is as follows. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances, meaning you cannot experience punishment for what you say or do or express in court. Only you can experience societal punishments. Shirts with messages are a part of free speech. These students should be allowed to express any political or otherwise opinions. In the Morse versus Frederick case of 2007, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the school that it is reasonably viewed that the sign used was promoting illegal drugs in reference to the sign held by Joseph Frederick at the 2004 Olympic torch relay through Juneau, Alaska. The students in our current case were not promoting anything unlawful. They were only promoting free speech and using their right to do so. In the Hazelwood versus Kuhlmeyer case of 1988, the Supreme Court sided with the school on the basis that the articles which had been removed from the newspaper by the principal without the student's knowledge, because as it was not ruled as a public forum and rather as a school-sponsored paper, essentially limited to just the school. This means that the school draws a legitimate interest in what is put in the paper, and since deemed inappropriate by the school standards, was allowed to be edited or removed. The students were not exercising their actions for just those in school. They can argue that what they had done this day applies to all of those, even off school grounds, as it was promoted as a free speech day, and they went out to do such things and promoted free speech to all. According to Christine Solomon of Yahoo News, a 7th grader was forced to cover up her shirt because her teacher found it offensive. The shirt read, "Why be racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic when you could just be quiet?" The assistant principal received calls from the staff that were offended by this shirt. One person wrote on social media, "What a shame. The school really missed an opportunity to support free speech in a thoughtful and inclusive manner. Instead of doing this, some of the staff took the opposite approach and went fully against it. Similar to this case, the school, instead of promoting free speech, decided to suppress it by the removal of controversial shirts such as this one. According to the Anti-Defamation League, general violations of dress code include: first, where a school demonstrates that a particular message or expression causes a material or substantial disruption to the school environment, or officials can reasonably forecast that the message will cause a material or substantial disruption. Such forecasts cannot be based on speculation, but based on prior events or history. Second, the message is lewd, vulgar, or sexual in nature. Or third, the message promotes illegal drug use. The previous dress code had no issues with substantial disruption outside of the occasional wasted classroom time. These disruptions are normal for a school. The other two deal with sexual or drug-related clothing, which do not apply, as these instances are few and far between. In a very controversial case about a very controversial decision, we will have to see the court's ruling.